thuis toe. Mama roep my thuis toe. Sing vir my, aku mama, bring my toe. Mama vat my huis toe. Mama roep my thuis toe. Sing vir my, aku mama, bring my toe.
Hello, everybody.
Hello, everybody.
That's how we start.
to
So,
see
hello,
you.
everybody.
We need to find another way to start this show.
We have to,
Ons
we
moet by
have to.
lag. Die mense dink ons vat vir hulle vir 'n gaan.
Ja,
We
definitely.
can. Yeah, no, this is
Definitely.
I must tell the people what you were saying to
You're not supposed to be
before
talking
the
yet.
show. Oh, sorry. Oh, you must introduce me first.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Okay, no, okay, fine.
Anyway, hello, everybody. Welcome
Hello.
to another episode of the Wayne Mckay and the Baydu Adams
Vodcast.
Not a podcast, it's
A
a
vodcast. Ou gaan by jou.
Ek is lekker.
Nee, jy lyk cool man. Jy lyk cool in jou yellow get-up. Die geel, jy's geel. Jy kan sommer sien. I love the yellow. It suits you well. You can see. We haven't had summer yet, but you are bringing summer in October and November. Yeah, for us, but it's good to be here with Baydu.
Wait, he's
Adams.
got his hand up. He must watch.
You must not talk.
Dog.
Oh,
Yes, sir. My area, from my tribe. Yes, sir.
I sense some sarcasm
Never.
in
Never.
that statement about,
Never.
about my yellow.
Never.
and me.
I had some sarcasm earlier this morning.
But is my porridge?
At a porridge.
Dis net stop talking
I
nonsense.
had some sarcasm. Imagine, he sensed it. Miskien raak dit aan my
I would
bek.
say
Ja.
something, but I'm not allowed to speak.
Not yet. Not yet.
Can we maybe keep over the last 2 minutes? Then
Yes. Yes, hy is nog al wissel week, man. But welcome, is lekker om vir jou te sien, my
Same
bro.
here,
Nee,
man,
jy lyk
man.
kwyt, jy lyk
Ek is 'n
kwyt.
groot fan van jou werk.
Nee,
I love
ek
what
ook,
you do.
ek ook.
Yeah.
Same here. Ek het ook 'n groot fan. By die huis, but it's good to see julle almal. Kyk
Maar
nie,
is dit ceiling fan?
'n ceiling fan.
Okay, gaan ons begin.
Ja, let's begin.
moet ek
No,
begin?
you can. You the guy.
Okay, joke aside. Welcome,
Yes.
ladies and gentlemen, to another episode of the Wayne Mckay and Baydu Adams Vodcast. Ons praat 'n bietjie nonsense. We speak to people that we know, we don't know. We find out about them. And today, I'm going to hand over to Wayne Mckay, who is sort of like 50-50 in this operation. Sometimes he thinks he's 70-30. There are even times when he thinks he's 90-10. Maar it's actually 50-50. Ons is eintlik dieselfde. Hy het miskien meer followers op Facebook as ek, but that doesn't matter. That doesn't matter. I'm not done yet. That doesn't matter. And the other thing I want to mention also, like, Wayne has never made me a cup of coffee. Ek kom elke weekend moet ek my eie koffie maak. Over to you, Wayne.
But here we go. Let me respond, let me rebuttal on that. Ek wil net sê, dat hy praat van 50-50 of 90-10, whatever the case may be. 50-50 mean, waar is die ander helfte van die jacket? Ek het net liefst sommer die geel moue gebring het, en nog 'n keer.
Weet jy wat ek proud is? Ek is proud van een ding van jou, Wayne.
Nee, my bro.
Die laaste keer toe ons vir Monique Rockman geïnterview het,
Yes.
toe praat jy nie in die mic toe,
Yes.
jy kyk, dis dit.
Very much,
Ek hoe jy gelag, wys vir die mense hoe jy gelag
Ek
het.
het gelag in a way that even our next guest would know that I left.
So- Ja.
But now I'm back to
So we could
that.
be a professional. Introduce vir dinges.
Okay, so I guess very voorbarige person.
Very,
very.
verskriklik voorbarig. Praat se maar
Verskriklik
voor ons weer wag introduce.
Introduce it, yeah. Extremely. Extremely voorbarig. You know, one of the most finest ever living female stand-up comedians, but she's sitting down now in South Africa, award-winning. When I say award-winning, it's not your local talent show award-winnings.
Westgate Mall.
Westgate
Westgate
Mall.
Mall.
Then I say, ladies and gentlemen, to everyone there that's non-binary, that's binary, that's working with binary, any people out there, welcome to Mel Jones.
Mel?
You thinking, are making me think now of Westgate Radio.
Radio West.
Radio West. With Mark
Yes.
Unity man dink nog altyd hy's op Radio West. Hi, it's so nice to be here and to be able to finally speak.
Thank you. No, yes. Anyway, so, Mel, I'm going to ask you one of the opening questions we tend to ask all of our guests. Please tell us about yourself, tell us where you grew up, and so on and so forth.
I am a single mother. I have a
So-
26-year-old son.
Sorry, I was thinking something. I'm gonna no go on. Go
No,
on.
I can go back to that because I know my story, so I can just always feed into what I was saying, and then you can ask me the question now because if you want to ask later, you'll forget. Because I know your age is not it's working against you.
I second you on that.
Jy's
Dis
ook
te
nie-
bepaal.
jy's ook nie so jonk nie.
Ja, en plus hy vergiet om sy moue aan te sit. Wat 50-50.
Gaan maar aan Mel. Go on, please.
I grew up in Mitchell's Plain. I was born in the Boer Cup. We lived in McCulton flats in the Boer Cup. And so we had to move to Mitchell's Plain because that hill was too steep. Because people were getting on in years, you
Yeah.
know, and their knees were suckling a bit to go up and down that hill. And so I was a very sickly child, man. I had asthma. It's like asthma, but when you have it on the Cape Flats,
It's
it's
different.
worse.
It's different. It's
It's so much worse. Your boss can it's like so much too. Like in windy day. Oh, you know, the southeaster. You can't speak, so
That
that's
sounded
asthma.
like a Tyrannosaurus Rex.
What?
It sounded like
A Tyrannosaurus Rex. Oh,
Come
oh
on.
like CeeLo Green.
Ja, ja, CeeLo Green. Shame die kind.
So yeah, so I'm the youngest of 3 siblings, which means I'm the favorite by proxy.
Oh yeah.
I wanted to say that because I want people to know that we know words
Oh.
like by proxy.
Proxy.
Don't ask me what it means. I just read somewhere.
It was at Grand West, the proxy
By
review
proxy.
bar.
The proxy review
bar
by
was
by
there.
proxy review.
By proxy review
That's
bar.
actually the Roxy. But seeing that you call it by proxy.
Clearly, someone hasn't performed there. He doesn't know. It's the by proxy review.
I didn't know you grew up in Buka,
Well, I didn't. I was 6 years old when we left.
but which means you grew up in Buka.
No,
Yeah,
I'm
that's
taller
like-
now.
For 6 years you were there.
For 6 years I was there. We lived like in a flat, and we used to overlook the entire.
Wow.
It was beautiful. Yeah.
You
and
also
then-
paint your room like yellow and blue and red and
Oh,
pink.
how sweet
and
that you thought I had
purple.
my own room. That's so nice of you.
No, you didn't show.
No.
The flats there.
A flat.
Yeah.
There's 3 children and my grandpa lived with us, and you thought I had my own room. That's so
Okay,
nice. Not
no.
even when we moved to Mitchell's Plain, I had my own room.
But what a lot of people don't know about your house in Mitchell's Plain. Wayne, I don't even think you know this.
No, not yet, but you can tell us.
I'm going to tell you.
Okay.
Don't.
No.
No. I see what's happening here.
What's
I'm
happening?
just- but anyway,
I don't know.
I don't know.
she has a balcony.
The current house, the one we moved to initially, did not have a balcony.
Oh my word.
We had that palatris outside, you know, when everybody used to sit on the palatris, and then we used to play Kennedy and Dribblerkies.
With the apologies, you play Kennedy with the best.
I
That's
was
typical.
very strong. I was very strong. And so I would like to think of myself as the initiator of the Palachi Kennedy.
A lot of
But
people.
I'm sorry, Wayne. I'm just up until today. As long as I know, you, I'm so proud of. I don't care about your achievements, but the fact that you got a balcony in Mitchell's
Yes.
Plain,
That is an achievement.
you're right.
Yeah. I
That
know.
is a. It's like your view, nie, but it's an achievement.
No, I do have a view. It's
Wat
just
is het?
of the
Van die
people's
mense ook aan
roofs.
jou wat
Yeah.
opkyk.
People's roofs. And then behind that, I can see in the distance, I can see Westridge Garden.
Okay.
So it's not a
Papuma.
bad view.
And, and the hospital, by the town center. Can you see the hospital?
No, that's
No, that's
behind
fine.
me.
Yeah.
That is behind me.
But that
The,
is
the,
it
mia-
takes-
the Mialo met.
Melon, yeah. So did you build it? You have it built or yourself or?
I told you,
Iemand wat
I
met
was
pallets
very strong.
Here, 'n vrou die.
I carried those bricks.
Ja.
And they, you know, they charge 100 rand for delivery. I said, no. Put the bricks on my back. I'll take it from the town center. And then I get it. It took a long time, eh? We just finished it 2 weeks ago.
We still haven't. Have you been invited to our house to come and see
Never.
the
Ek het ons
balcony?
geweet het op balcony.
Nee, ek het geweet
Well,
op
I'm
Facebook.
I was waiting for it to be finished before I could invite people.
It's only been 17 years, but I read about it on Facebook that Mel has got a balcony. But it's
Oh,
beautiful.
man.
I think it's beautiful. I think for somebody that comes from where I come from, when my fellow people have a balcony, they've achieved.
Yeah.
I'm so glad I built it.
Mel, just on a funnier note, tell me you.
We're gonna get funnier then.
Thank you, viewers. Listen, the comedy for you, stand-up comedy. I remember when comedy started in the Western Cape. You know, I'm referring to local comedy. You're one of the first of quite a few female comedians that basically embarked on wanting to know more about comedy. Just tell us more how it started for you.
Well, I didn't know that women weren't doing it. I actually went into comedy because people used to say to me, you know what, you wasting your time, because I was used to work at the Clicks. And so they told me I was wasting my time, and I knew I was wasting my time.
Authorized.
Oh, sorry. No, not sponsored. Not sponsored. I mean, they didn't even pay me very well. So I was a casual Muslim. And so I was working at a retail store.
Authorized.
Baydu, can you throw klapraat because later dan vraag jy, what are we talking about again?
Ek wil gaan my fout klik. Sorry, gaan aan.
Authorized.
Click.
Anyway, sorry.
So
sorry
you're
Mel
saying
Jones.
click, yeah.
And then I found out about a workshop in Woodstock, that they were doing a comedy workshop. And my mother actually said, no, you know, there's a thing about a colored mother. You must do that. Why don't you go for that? So I followed her advice. I went to the workshop. I enjoyed what I was watching. You know, it's like peers, your peers sitting in a room, kind of critiquing each other, saying, adding some things, taking away some things. And because I was very new to it, I didn't know what comedy was about.
Yes. Yeah.
I didn't have, when people asked me who was your favorite comedian, I didn't have a favorite comedian. I wasn't very well aware of what the comedy circuit was about, especially not in South Africa. I mean, I just saw people like Eddie Eckstein and Mel Miller, and I didn't know those were comedians. I
Tola.
just saw the Tola van der Merwe. I just saw them as performers. And so when I found out, once the longer I was in the entertainment industry, the more I found out that there were actually very few women doing
Yeah.
this. And so it didn't, and I mean, if I'd known about it before that, I'd like to say that maybe I wouldn't have ventured, but I think because of my stubbornness, I probably
Yes,
would have gone like,
yeah.
now we need
Definitely.
some representation here.
I was also in that workshop and I saw you and I think Tracy Klaas was
Yes.
also there. The only two. And some of the peers, you still remember some of the peers that you still
Oh,
that
yes.
from way back then, because I think that was in 2000, so it's 2023. So
Maybe
that
we
would be
can mention
2000.
those names because it actually was going to be my question. Who were the people that you was the Cape Comedy Collective? I'm
Cape
assuming.
Comedy
So who were the
Collective.
people behind it, and who were the people who were sitting in the room? With?
Mark Sampson and Sam Pierce, they were down here from the UK, and they were trying to build a comedy community
Okay.
in Cape Town. So the people who were already in the going through the motions were a Stuart Taylor and a Kurt Skoenraad and a Nick Rabinowitz and Riyad Musa. So they were all kind of forging their way in the comedy industry, and they were because of Sam and Mark, they had gone out and sourced gigs. They'd gone to places to ask if they could have live performances, because there weren't a lot of live performances of comedy. You had a bunch of people playing live music, but there was no like live performances of stand-up comedy. So they started paving the way and kind of getting more people to perform on the circuit. And we used to have to go to Bloberg to perform.
Oh, yes.
Why? Mel, if you can remember, just tell us why you pull your face like that when you say
Because
Bloberg.
Bloberg is far.
Oh,
Now I had to take a bus and a train and 2 taxis to get to Bloberg, and I needed a passport. So it was far.
or you could have just taken your car. I'm
Yeah.
just, yeah. Anyway,
Yeah, I remember those because that was very
But like
far.
for dramatic effect, the car was not so
okay,
lekker.
but you know, nothing impresses me. So, just for future reference, just say I drove to Bloberg. Don't still take an aeroplane and a helicopter. I could jump to the cliff. Sorry, go on.
I never spoke about the helicopter, but I think maybe that would have been nogal a good
Jy weet
idea.
nie wat is in jou koffie vanaand nie, but hier.
He
but
made it
Bloberg,
himself,
that time he
so
made it
don't
himself,
trust
yeah.
him.
But I mean, Bloberg in those years was quite far. We didn't know there was a place. We knew the name Bloberg, but for us, coming from the Cape Flats,
We weren't allowed there.
We're
Now
not
they tell us to
allowed.
go there. So
No.
now we went
Yeah, because that was a Witberg.
in a Bloberg,
But tell me, Mel,
which happened once he was starting to suffocate.
did you ever feel, especially when you were doing comedy, that side of the world, a bit intimidated as a woman when you were on stage?
I felt intimidated all the time because I was watching all of these people who I now knew were doing major things in the industry, and I was doing my 5-minute open spot everywhere. And even though I was representing, at the time I didn't know it was such a big deal. To me, it was just doing something that I actually found that I loved. I didn't feel like I had the weight of the world on my shoulder because I was this woman
Pioneer
doing,
and yeah.
you know? So what to me, it wasn't a big deal. I was just going out there trying to figure it out, doing what I loved. Because it's terrifying, but it's also exhilarating. If you've ever been on stage, you know, people fear public speaking.
Yeah.
So here I was doing what I loved, enjoying it. And when I found out that I was a woman not supposed to be doing what men are doing, it actually became a little more thrilling and exhilarating because then I knew that I had a different perspective. I knew that I could speak from a different space, from a different voice, and I was actually representing people in the audience who weren't previously represented. So there were women going, oh, I get that. I see it like that. And also there were also a bunch of like older comedians who were doing like my wife was in the boot jokes, you know? Oh, my wife is so ugly. My wife is so fat.
Tell us one.
No.
Oh, it's a wrong time to ask that question. No, sorry.
Definitely
No.
not.
Take
Not on
that-
this
take
show.
that part
It's
out.
a vodcast.
kidding.
We
I'm
won't mention their names either. But know that they were older comedians.
So they know who they are.
That you know who you were.
And just on that quickly, if I may, in 2023, I mean, you've now established you're one of, I would like to use the word pioneers when it comes to the female comic game, people of color, etc. Are there still a lot of things the same, like when you started, or has a lot changed?
A lot has changed, but a lot has still stayed the same. So there are still stages that are still very male dominated. But then there are also young female comics rising up in the ranks. And so I feel that because they are in a space where they feel like they should be empowered, and I don't think that this is specifically a female thing. I think that this is a young comic thing. There's a little bit of entitlement. I've been doing this for long enough. I need to be further than I
need to
actually
be
am.
Drie weke perform.
Yeah, you performed 2 open mic gigs, and then you had to headline because the headliner wasn't there. So now all
Or
of
even, sorry to catch you now, but even you were performing with sort of a higher, I don't know what the term is, but like a Mark and a Wayne and a Stewart, all of a sudden I feel, okay, well, I'm that level.
Yeah.
And I read somewhere, or no, it was KG that said to us, comedy is one of the things where you actually do not need to build a reputation like a singer would necessarily have to be singing with that level of people.
Yeah.
It could just be like, oh, sure, but we need one more guy. Let's use Baydu because he's charging us $50 and put him on stage with all these other, all these
Yeah.
other guys. Yeah.
You don't have the kind of clout that you do
Yeah.
in different industries. Like
Yeah.
comedy is, I think, the least disciplined industry in the entertainment industry, where you look at a ballerina, for example, the amount of time and effort that they have to put in before they can even get onto stage is ridiculous. Yeah, we can just tell a joke and then, oh, okay, now you're lucky, you can come play. So we can have people who've been doing it for 2 days be on the stage with people who've been doing it for 20 years. We can have people who've been doing it for 2 days who can be on the stage with people who've been doing it for 20 years.
And I remember seeing Wayne in a tutu once, and not with tutu, in a tutu, and he had those ballerina shoes, but they were too small because he's a size 9, and the ballerina shoes were size 7, so it was awkward.
And you still decided to do this with him?
No, I videoed it. I didn't do it with him. I would never. I'm not a ballerina.
No, I mean, you still decided to work with him. Questionable.
That wasn't part of the conversation. We can cut that part out because it's not even true.
Leave it in.
And
Leave it in.
No, don't
Your,
do
your
that.
camera,
So-
your camera is here. You don't need to look at our camera.
No, because I want to get in front of him.
Like-
So that you
But then you can put your chair. You can come sit here by us.
My chair haven't got wheels.
No. JT Village
Only
is
your chair's
all
got
the
wheels.
village is here.
But we
Maar
asked
ons
you
lag
about
wel
the chair.
toe. Ja, ons lag nie by.
No, you didn't want the chair with wheels.
So doen nie village,
So
jy kry
here
sommer
we are.
deja vu, né?
Here we are.
Mel, question. So being on
You
the
don't
stage-
have to precede every question with question.
with the question, yeah, but it is.
It's a Bush radio thing.
is.
He works at Bush radio, so it's a Bush radio.
Well, anyway, seeing that we are out of the bush and out of my tutu, let me just ask.
We don't know that you're out of your tutu. You're sitting behind a desk.
Moet ek dit uithaal, moet ek dit op die tafel gooi. Anyway, you spoke about the industry and how male dominated it is. Do you find that you have to work extra hard, especially when being on stage, and there is a huge percentage of male on the lineup, for example,
Yeah.
because you've had the opportunity to not just perform locally, but also well, I'm talking regionally in different parts of South Africa. How's that being
I
accepted?
think that when you are on stage, there's no universally appealing comedian. People are going to like you or they're not going to like you.
Yeah.
So I'm beyond that trying to work hard to prove myself thing. There will be people in the audience who get me and like me and want to go on the journey with me. And then there are people in the audience who will be like, nah, I don't smack that. Just like there is with every other comedian. There are people who will love a Dave Chappelle and hate a Dave Chappelle. There are people who will love a Chris Rock and hate a Chris Rock. So you can be one of the funniest people in the world, but someone's not going to like you. So it's not a personal thing. If you take it personally, you're going to be struggling with the voices in your head for a very long time. So there will be people on the stage, in the audience, wherever they are, and they are going to like what they like. And they're going to have the opinion that they have. And it's just the way things are in life, in general. It's like when you try and have, you post something on social media and you go, oh, this is lekker. And then there's going to be people like, why must you? They're going to have some sort of thing to say to drag you down.
Yeah.
It's just the way people are.
So you've basically definitely grown in this industry of
You're
the
calling me
past.
fat?
No. Fat has got nothing to... You see, it's just like with the tutu.
PH.
Wys vir ons,
PH.
ons weet nie wat gaan agteruit hier staan nie, nou, so we won't know. Ek bring dit terug. Thank you viewers for... Thank you, I appreciate you.
You're just looking for likes now, okay, girl?
Just
Looking for likes.
like and share. Anyway.
And subscribe.
Subscribe.
And my prescribe.
Listen, we all know, and I'm just going to brush over this. Wayne and I went to Woodlands High, and you went to Mondale High, which is like the bishops of the Cape Flats, because you guys think you are quiet. I just want
And I
to
was an
add that.
athlete.
Ooh,
were an athlete?
I'm a little steal the athletes.
Doing what?
And I
Javelin?
want to make it.
No, I was 800 meters in 1.5.
800 in, ooh,
No, look what you said.
So
no,
you
I
were
got asthma.
asthma.
I know you must. I can say asthma, but we've already determined that
Yeah.
asthma is worse than asthma.
Now tell me this, you were at Mondale, but it's also known that most of those athletes were actually athletes that were bribed from other schools. It's not even a known fact. You don't even need...
So they were paid to
they
come
were
and
paid,
study at
You
your
don't need a
school.
Zondo
But
commission.
let's move on from that,
Yeah.
otherwise she's going to get
Okay.
all defensive. Your son is
Well,
also...
some of them paid.
Your son is also... has also tried comedy, or is a comedian. What's the story there?
Some of them they paid.
The Mulligan twins.
I actually just have to tell you that I was at Mondale for 2 years and then I went to Portland High. Because I changed subjects and they didn't have the subject stream that that I wanted offered at Mondale. So I actually went to Portland High.
But we love Mondale High, but we just
just like West
A
End
dig.
is better.
dig, yeah.
And also I wasn't getting paid.
A lot of people don't know it's actually called Portland.
Portland,
Yes.
yes, not
Correct.
Portland's.
Portland.
Portland's is in the
You have
US.
any Portlands?
In the US.
Portland, Portland.
Portland, yeah.
Oregon. Argument.
But listen, back to the interview after Wayne rudely interrupted us. Your son also
You
tried.
chose to work with him.
He's the only one I can afford. Your son chose to do comedy at
Yeah.
one stage. Is he still? Or what's
He
the-
does occasionally. I mean, lockdown has messed with a lot of people's live performances, and so for a while he hasn't. Him and I are actually going to be performing together
Oh wow.
in a gig at the same. But we've done it before, where I'm emceeing or I'm headlining, and then he's an open mic. So that's fun to do. But I sometimes want to offer him advice, and then he goes like, "No, I don't want to do your comedy. I want to do
Quiet.
my comedy," which is great. But my take on it is that other comedians ask me for advice. You are my child. I should be able to give you the same courtesy. I should be able to give you the same privilege.
For free.
For free. No, the others don't pay me.
I also at this juncture
Hey.
of this.
Hey, yo,
Of
juncture.
this
Ek het
vodcast.
amper 'n proxy uitgehaal.
I'd like to also just mention, as we have witnesses around us as well, the last guest we had, it's just one guy, the last witness, the last guest,
Alle witnesses.
Who is in the court? In court now.
the last guest we had, a lady called Monique Rockman, said to me actually that, oh, there's food now. Food
Did
is
she
it?
say that to you?
No, I just, there's
That's nice. Why didn't you invite
Anyway,
her back?
Where was I? I see that coach. Shukran for the food.
To all the witnesses that's working.
The last guest,
I totally offered.
I know what you're getting at. You like the last guest said there's food. Where's your food that you were
No,
supposed to bring?
not at all. I just want to categorically state. And as my witnesses were present in this room, a certain lady called
this is the
Monique
one in
Rockman said to me when the camera was off, she says to me, "Why don't you try comedy? You're quite funny."
And then what was your response?
There was the response.
Look, can you file that dead air? That's what we also have on radio. Yeah. I was in the cricket. I was a baby.
Listen, Wayne, I know sometimes Wayne hates, right? But
Not
hold
all the
on,
time.
wait, please. Let me finish.
Okay.
Not all the time. Not all the time. But please ask Wayne, whom of the two in this podcast tells a joke every episode? Ask him. Because, in my opinion, I think I am actually a very good comedian.
I
just
feel
haven't
like
been
this
up
is
to-
not a conversation with me anymore. I feel like I'm just a bystander, an innocent bystander in a drive-by argument.
With food.
Okay. Did you want to ask a question now? Or?
I'm just trying to
We
find
wanna
out who was the
discuss.
proxy at the Grand West. Mel, you know, we spoke about award winning and all that. Just mention a few. I mean, you've done quite an amount of comedy gigs. Highlights for you that you've done over the past.
I don't think that the highlights are necessarily the prestigious things.
Okay.
It's not necessarily the awards. It's not necessarily that, oh, I performed on the stage with this one and that one, and I traveled to this. That's not necessarily the highlights for me.
Okay.
The highlights for me are like the little personal things when you walk off stage and someone says to you that you really made their day.
Yeah.
I had an incident where a woman came up to me after the show and she said to me, I'm going through a divorce. And I was having a really terrible week. And so when I came here, I didn't really smart to be here. And then when I saw you, I felt empowered just by watching a woman on stage who is sassy and confident and in her own skin, comfortable in her own skin. And so she felt like, you know, whatever it is that she's going through, she can take. And it wasn't even the comedy, as hilarious as I am. It wasn't even, yay.
No, I was
No, but
asking-
that's hilarious.
No, ek moet nog gevra het, who was on stage, but now put two and two, so you were on stage.
It was me.
Oh, because you said sassy and stuff.
But
Anyway, let's go on. Come on.
so, then, like what Baydu
So-
was saying earlier on, like with singers and then with comedians, you can see with, you know, the purpose of why you are doing what you're doing, just be, you know, enriching a person's life. So, I mean, you could be doing comedy for how long? You love it, you get the audience laughing, you get paid for it, etc. But just that one person coming up to you and saying, listen, this is what you just, so it is a morale booster. It's a whole lot of things, you know.
When you're laughing, you're not thinking about your problems. You're not laughing. When you're laughing, you're not thinking about how terrible things are at home. You're not thinking about, oh, I've got to do that thing at work. You're laughing. You're just laughing. You're just having a good time. So you've raised your vibration to a place where you're beyond all of that. Whatever. Yes, you'll go back to it later, and on the way home, you'll still be in the afterglow of the comedy experience. But it's easy to lose yourself and feel the joy of what happens in the room, and that's probably why I love the comedy so much, is because it brings such a lovely energy into the room. And so I think that's the thing I love about it the most. And the fact that I get to make a living out of this is
Mel,
so cool.
We've spoken about this a lot on this podcast. Mental issues and dealing with mental issues is, and I know it's ironic when you think how people are laughing all the time, they're comedians, but we all go through cuck. All of us go, whether it's financial or spiritual, whatever the case may be, physical. Or it's just, do you ever go through that? And
Of course.
and how do you deal with it?
I have learned to try and see things from a different perspective, and it's a simple thing, but it's not an easy thing.
Yeah.
You acknowledge the emotion, the annoyance, the anger, the depression, the whatever it is that's getting you down, that's making you feel unpleasant. Acknowledge it, because I think we're getting into a stage where people say positive thoughts, and it becomes toxic positivity, where you brush things under the rug and you go like, oh no,
I'm
I've got to
happy.
smile,
Yeah.
I've got to be happy, and so you've got this sort of like you're overcompensating for whatever's going wrong in your life. And we don't acknowledge the fact that we're going through some stuff. And what we're going through is human and it's natural. And everyone goes through it. And so we sickle. And we feel sad. And we don't, we're not, just because we're comedians doesn't mean that we laugh all the time. In fact, we try and find ways to take that, the pain and the anguish and the suffering and the
Turn it into a
storm,
joke
and we turn it into something. And so it's a skill that you have where you kind of teach people how to navigate through life with a better perspective.
Yeah.
But it is about that. It's about acknowledging, going, okay, fine. So I see you, depression. But today I'm going to think a better thought. And sometimes you have to take yourself away from it, and distance yourself from it, and just find the simple things in life that you're grateful for. Think about the things that in life that are very, very, like the teeny tiny bits that you don't necessarily acknowledge much, like the time you get to spend with your family.
Yeah.
If you didn't have that, you'd be. So you kind of go, or feel the sun on your skin. Nature has a way of bringing you back to basics.
And realize what you are blessed with.
Realize what
and
you're
what's
blessed with.
around it, yeah.
And sometimes it's simple things. Sometimes it's just playing some music. Sometimes it's dancing around the room like no one is watching, because some people can't dance, so maybe they should be,
Yeah. No, I get it.
by themselves. And so
It was such a sea, and then they had to flip in that joke. But let's rather cut it there, otherwise it's going to be
What? I
awkward
know
now.
banana.
It's going to be awkward if we now.
Awkward, yeah.
Yeah.
Style
But
popular.
I do get that blessed feeling, because, Wayne feels like that every time we sit here. He's so blessed
to be with you.
around me.
That's why I'm gonna
and-
bless. I feel so blessed.
And I bring energy to his life. And he goes home and he actually steals my jokes, because he's now trying to prove that I'm not a comedian. And then,
Dit is toch maar die regte vodcast.
anyway, but
You weren't paid. Ek is by die verkeerde vodcast. Wearing a tutu. But I'm
I
not
feel
real.
like I'm playing the role of psychologist.
Mrs. Phil, not Dr. Phil.
No, I will never be married to that man. Have you seen how subservient his wife is? I could never be that.
Yeah.
Imagine I must be Dr. Phil's wife. I almost moved him. You can't. No, this man is a good. Come, we're going now, honey. No, honey, people play.
ek wat
Ja.
7 laan.
Nee,
Los
ek
my.
sit hier.
Sy sê
Wat
dit
sy
van my
sê
nie.
van hulle,
Sy
dat gaan
sê-
cancel.
Dat Wayne kry dit, sy sê dit vir my nie. Sê ek, He doesn't, Wayne does just say it for my
Jay Goggety.
Jy go.
Jay
Oh,
Goggety,
no.
that's an old word.
Niet een
And
bot. En bot. Niet een bot. Have you... Hey? Do you remember those? They was
I'm
lekker.
going to really serious question. If can I ask, or you want to ask?
No, you can
Okay.
ask.
Do you like to eat?
Yes.
Okay. So tick, because there's food there. So
No, it will
think-
not climax. You see, no, that's the thing. You didn't understand that. You understand that's a proxy. That's why I like to work with him. That is why I'm saying it. But the sound engineer,
hy eet al.
hy eet al.
Hy eet
Hy's
al.
al klaar vir die kou.
Nee, ons het gehoor. They don't know this, but we had to do 3 takes of a bit
Yeah.
because they was
Jy kan
in the
hoor.
packets.
Hy's soos 'n muis.
In the packets.
Freak, ja, klein muis.
And I was
met
like,
'n hairdo.
okay, and take 2.
Ja.
En nog take 3
Yeah.
because no, daar gaan we hoene. Nee,
Like I say, julle bek is in the flower. Jy weet mos hy
I thought he's wearing lip gloss. Ek dink, nee, waarom die man met lip kantie kantie.
Back to the podcast, guys.
Yeah,
Back to
and-
the podcast.
Yeah, there we go.
And go.
Maar
Can you tell me if my hair is okay? Because you
Yeah.
sent me to a bathroom, there's no mirror in the
You know,
bathroom.
just so our
I also
viewers-
said, I come here, the window's blowing. I come here, the window's blowing. Huh? And my hair's disheveled. And they say to me, oh, no, I said, can I just check my hair? They say, they're in the bathroom. I get to the bathroom,
No matter.
no mirror.
it's
No
because-
mirror. I thought you want me to look at my reflection in the toilet bowl. What is it that you want me to do here?
Just for
I'm
clarity,
saying,
her hair didn't look like this when she came here. She had haar net 'n bietjie nat
neither
gemaak.
did yours.
Exactly. But die wind, she walked through a tunnel in 'n steekwinde hier in die Kaap, for those of you that's watching from overseas. And that's why she looks so gorgeous.
Overseas.
She's
Australia, Perth.
From Perth. Yeah, from Perth. Ons het prettig hier so. But now, just coming back to you. Jy weet, as ek ook haar het.
Jy het haar gekry. Toe stap jy deur die tunnel. Nou sien haar.
Weg. Mel, you, as a stand-up comedian, we all know that is who you are. That's the power you have as a woman. You're also an MC, a master of ceremony.
Yes.
doing quite a number of events as well. But what other traits do you have as an artist where you've also think, listen, let's try a bit of this and see how it works out? Because you see a lot of comedians, for example, that go into other kind of sectors in terms of their work, it takes them. So in your case,
I think for me it kind of morphed organically, naturally. Baydu, sit.
Hy wil weer friet,
Hy wil weer gaan
hy
friet
friet,
vat.
ja. Sit.
Then we must take 4 takes again
Exactly.
because nog gaan in
Friet,
die
jy kan sien is honger, maar hy's nou wakker nou.
I'm coming now, guys.
Nou, hy bly
Go to
nie.
the bathroom. You're gonna go put a
Bly
mirror.
nie.
You're gonna go put a
Dis
mirror in the
supposed to be a
bathroom.
podcast. 50-50. Kyk, daar gaan die 50%
Guys,
nou.
can they please talk amongst yourselves?
Asof jy rugby game is. Yeah, you were saying.
So, for me, it kind of morphed into something.
You know, we've tried this. This is a podcast.
Bring iets, jy kan dit agter die skermtjie sê, jy kan na, wat is dit?
Huh?
You eating your coffee now.
Continue, Mel. Dis wat ek gefriet na.
So I MC a lot of events. And because sometimes, you know, you kind of have like an award ceremony or you have like a year-end function and then there's a bunch of speeches and then it's the CEO that's got to say that, vat net a chip.
Thank you. Now I'm also
Sorry,
part
yeah,
of the
yes,
conspiracy.
awards
But you were
ceremony.
saying awards. Yeah, you were saying about the awards.
You know, they told me I was going to be in a studio. I thought, oh, well, this is professional.
Very much.
Can't. Professional.
Yeah.
Yes, award ceremony.
Moet ek nou my pik op
So I
aflê,
MC
dan is
Fifi.
dat-
No, don't put it there, put your pocket.
Yeah, no, it's not mine, it's his. Anyway, yeah, continue.
You smell?
So, MC awards him, then there's always a CEO, and then they like want to do the financial statements of the year, and they want to like, which is necessary for the year-end functions. And they talk about the year ahead. They've got like the people to, so like the heads of department, and everybody must want to ever say.
Yeah.
So now in between that, then they want you to kind of lighten the mood because otherwise, mense wil gaan drink, mense wil die, hulle het gesê hier's 'n DJ, where's the DJ?
So it's 13.
No, ja, wou, nou voor hulle wil gehad dat we die toe kom because hulle nog die bonus betaal is so. And so you have events like that, and then you kind of feel like you need to uplift it. And so it sort of moved, I think, from just being an MC to kind of have like little motivational bits, like little spurts of enlightenment and empowerment and upliftment during the course of the event. And it happened a lot during Women's Month events because a lot of women are like the last bastions of sacrifice. They'll go and they'll do so many things for so many different people in their company, and then they've got to rush home and they've got to do the same thing in their family. So I started bringing little bits of upliftment and empowerment into those events. And they really took to it. Like it's something that they resonated with. And so I started developing like little games that we would play, and then from the games you would kind of have like, here's a little lesson you can take from that. And so it became something that I really started enjoying because, you know, as a person who brings joy to the world through whatever medium, through whatever platform, it's nice to be able to see smiles on people's faces, and it's nice to see that what you're doing is working. And that's why I say it doesn't matter who the haters are, it doesn't matter who the people are who's going to try and drag you down. You do you because you're going to resonate with someone. Someone's going to go like, I really like that. And that's exactly what I need to brighten up my day. So that's kind of where it stemmed from. And so I went through some motivational stuff. And now I kind of have like a little package that I do, what I incorporate into events if people want it, which is really fun for me because it's done in such a way that it's light and it's entertaining, but you also walk away with something. You walk away like a...
Are you qualified for that? I mean, is it something
I'm
that you...
actually doing an online course at the moment so that I can be certified to do it, so that I can be... I don't want to call it a life coach because a life coach is a very... It feels... It already takes me away from the lightheartedness of it. Do you know what I mean? So I want to find a different way to introduce it to people. Because it is fun and light and entertaining, but you also do get like a little something, a little nugget of wisdom, if you want to take away from that, which is, I think, in line with joy, and people learn a lot more. People cling to information more when they're when they're in a fun space, when they're laughing and having a good time. So I felt it was a good marriage because it's the only marriage I'm feel like I'm.
Yes, anyone you ever have. Can ik one of that? Mel, the one thing. Ja, sy klaar. No. Ek het so 3 van my chips gegee. And
This is
how you
why
treat me.
I'm not
But
married.
it's fine. After this, I'm going to take my 3 chips back. Mel, Wayne, I know Wayne is a bit jealous because you and I work together
Yes.
at a radio station, which he's never done. So every day full of
very
chikasa.
jealous.
But anyway, tell us about your radio journey. I mean, you've worked at a station, being on air, and then when I left the second station, when I left Heart FM, you became the producer there.
Yes.
Tell us about your radio journey.
Wasn't lekker.
At all.
No. I
Is er nog chips there?
is.
No.
Sorry,
Do
sorry,
you
Mel.
not want me to tell you about my radio journey?
No.
It's another one of those things like comedy found me, radio found me, because we were doing a tour, a comedy tour of South Africa. We're doing like Joburg and Durban and Bloemfontein, you know. They also need to laugh.
They also laugh,
And so they asked me because I was the only woman of color on the lineup. I mean, it's another one of those things where I didn't actually realize the significance of it. So they asked me to do the PR interviews and like the publicity and stuff. And I was doing some radio interviews, and then I did one of the radio interviews, and the program manager at the time was like, "Oh, we like her voice, we like the vibe. Bring her in for a trial run, have a little chat." We had a little meeting, and then they said, "We'll try you out for 3 months," and I stayed for 7 years.
Oh, wow.
So it was, and that was where I met you, and I didn't
Unfortunately,
know.
you met Trinity.
I'm talking about when I met you, no? Now we're going to talk about where I met you.
Okay. Anyway. No worries. Yeah.
That's
Anyway,
No, go on.
So how's it working with you?
Look, like I'm saying, I'm his blessing. That's all. I'm
Talk
his
about
blessing.
this blesser.
I'm sipping my coffee.
But you know what? I actually remember
Koffie
that.
is al uitskoop,
Yes,
tel ons
that's
wel.
iced coffee. That's iced coffee. Kawaii. I remember that time when you came through. And another thing that I also remember, there was a group within the group, because not many people know that, but the radio stations normally have different groups of various groups that own it. And there was a specific group of people who were mostly from the Cape Flats or from our communities. And the one guy, I think he's passed on now, he was upset of the type of character you were playing on air. And the way he was upset was like, why is she just like the colored sidekick? Why isn't she playing a stronger role? And I remember those talks, and I think it was at a time when, even up until today, I don't think there's enough women of color who are, especially in this town, who are on radio and whatever. But did that ever affect you? Were you ever aware of it, or did you just
It didn't
enjoy?
affect me. Firstly, I wasn't aware of it. I wasn't aware of the role I was meant to play. I came onto a radio station being the light, being the entertainment, being the fun, which is my role, which is what I'm good at, which is, I felt like I was playing to my strengths. I didn't ever feel like I was a sidekick. And also, I don't necessarily think sidekicks are the worst thing. Like if you watch sitcoms, the sidekicks are the most fun.
Yeah.
The sidekicks are the one that everybody is like, oh, we really love them.
Typical example, because it's
Who's the sidekick?
yeah, because it's the Wayne Mckay.
That's
Oh.
what I'm saying, like the side.
That's why you're wearing yellow, because yellow is a color of joy and
And
fun.
Mellow yellow. Mellow. It's
What
very
people
mellow.
don't know is that yellow is actually a color that represents intelligence.
Oh.
Do you know that in order to be funny, you have to have a certain, okay, but now you're disproving,
Yes.
now you're
It's very
disproving,
intelligent, that.
What it is?
disproving the whole thing.
I like the logo there. The
Feel
images. As a high.
Okay, yeah, Mel, you were saying?
Now you look a bit like a bouillon, no?
Ik ga naar mijn eigen proxy call. But really, no.
It didn't.
really.
It actually didn't affect me.
And Heart FM, before Wayne asks another ridiculous
good
question, it's
question,
not
yeah,
going to be
yeah,
funny
Yeah.
or serious. It's just
No,
going to be like,
let's
oh,
Yeah.
let me just make up a question.
Yeah.
Do you have a list of questions?
No.
Do you write it down?
It's on the
It's
wall.
all up in here.
All in here. En ik ben op die balcony.
By proxy review, ma.
I proxy review, but
So yeah, so to me it wasn't. I was there to have fun, and I thought that was I was fulfilling a role.
Yeah.
And I wasn't going to be able to do what the
other
presenter was doing. He needed to be the boring one.
Yeah.
Just, someone has to be,
I get it.
someone has to be the boring one.
I completely get it, guys.
And so, I didn't actually feel, I think that a lot of people, a lot of,
They put it like, yeah,
I
like
feel
waiting for a
like-
bus. No, but it's a good bus.
I feel like it's a struggle bus.
Can you answer shorter?
No.
Sorry.
I feel like, and I think that, listen, no, this is serious. I'm going to say something serious now.
Yeah, coming now.
Because you will come, bring the chips for me. So I
No,
feel,
the quicker you tag us, we can all eat chips.
I feel like, and you may know this, when you feel like you are representing a group of people, no matter what group of people they are, sometimes there's a lot of pressure on you because those people don't want to stand up and hold themselves accountable for whatever it is that they need to bring to the party. So they see someone else who does it and they go, oh, you must be this person for us, you must be that person for us. And that's a lot of weight to carry on one person's shoulders. So we all have our strengths, we all have our talents, and
Why are you speaking so fast now all of a sudden? You can take
because
your time.
I want to eat also chips.
out.
I want to eat also chips. You asked, do I need,
I'm
do I
listening.
like food? And now I'm not just thinking about food. And so sometimes you just got to be who you are and let someone else carry the pressure of whatever it is that they feel like needs more representation of. And so that is.
You finish.
Mel, just a
As in,
question.
nog een
Yeah,
Mel.
ik heb 12.
thought
Mel
dan.
Jones. The Mel Jones.
My vader
You
is
always... Zo water, ja, ons is het nog. Ons het nog. Ons het een hele gat vol water aan dit veel.
Hoe is dit? Die gaat het nog op.
Ja, die gat het gekom. Ja, hele barrel gat vol. Dan
Maar klaar, man.
ik is amper klaar. Ik heb al niet slapen. Zie me op
Laat.
wat. You, just in terms of summary, right?
As I nou spring.
Huh?
In terms of summary, must
Ja, ons
spring.
moet nog summarize because jy praat te lang. Ons wil net sê is dat ja, maar ek het honger man.
Antwoord,
My
Daddy.
burger is al warm al van die koudheid.
Ik doe een
It's just-
microwave weg, because
Ja, ja.
dan is het warm maar.
Ja,
Dus
ja.
ik laat zien dat chips wat ook te zien.
Ja. Ja, maar die is second door. Ek
vars.
is vars chips, ja.
Was geweest when it got here?
Nou, dan ons
Because you said you said good afternoon is al nou al nagal.
nou kan jy
See
sien.
why jy aangaan met die
Water,
question.
geel. Ek dink ek is eendag
Jy
wat
sê
Mello
ek
julle-
antwoord lank, maar
Jy
jy
vat-
vra lank.
Anyway,
Ek wil vra. Ja, sit al borrelwange al. In English it's borrelwange. Mel, just tell us quickly. You as a comedian, right?
Thank you.
You see,
Oh,
ask me
lekker
questions,
optel.
then I get disrupted. Nou, they friting. Especially for those of you who don't know what friting means. They friting and they don't even share. They just eat my chips. And that is my chips, supposedly. Yeah, for them thing. How do you plan a food for...
We praat of food.
Can we stop this?
The same way you plan a
Stop this so we
You
can
can see that's the problem when you eating.
The
and
same way
can't
you
think.
plan ahead.
I brought
The same way you plan a
ahead.
year.
No, Fred. How
You
do you
plan
plan a
ahead.
food? Say, Fred.
Maar
Say
plan
that
of
you
food.
brought a food. Say that you brought a food. Niuna, I think you got the next question. I'll email you my
no,
next
Fred,
question.
no, Fred.
But
How do
you're
you
not
plan a
planning a
food?
food. So can you put it in things? No,
Jy
I'm
moet
just
skoene-
talking. Like for you,
You must have shoes.
you must have shoes.
Shoes and maybe if it's like sneakers, you must
plan
have
a food.
socks.
Yeah, that's right. Crocs, I mean.
Oh, nee. Don't wear Crocs in the sunshine because you'll have a whole schatte.
Op jou
You'll
voete.
have, yeah, little
Especially
tan
for us,
marks.
yeah. So with the comedy career, plans for how you go
This is a
ahead. for
different
do you-
question.
It's a very different
a sec-
question. Die sonnery crocs aan. As net, hoe plan jy as 'n comedian?
Plan.
Maar plan nie plante nie, maar hoe beplan jy? Jare,
Subject.
I'm of looking now, jare, ek kan nie help my. You see, this is the thing,
I
when
like
you're
a
the
succulent.
hungriest person.
I would say
Dan gaan vir tot twee, maar
I would say
you
if
can
you're
see
gonna-
they're slowly
if you're gonna-
falling asleep.
a succulent because they need the least care possible.
Maar ek dink
so
jy moet die net
succulent.
vra vir
That's how
I'll
you
WhatsApp
plant.
the next question to her.
question.
No, dat was nie dat was 'n goeie question. Sy praat van
How do you
voete
plan?
en van crocs. Dis hoe plan jy? How do you plan? Sy vra van plante.
Kijk, ik wil twee dingen doen.
Ja.
Nou, kan je daar genoeg tijd is.
Ja, dat is genoeg
Ik
tijd.
wil
Ja.
wie kan Mel Jones...
Who's gonna edit this? Who's gonna
No
edit
one's
it?
gonna edit nothing. Can Mel Jones een hoender wat ik kijk jullie spelen? Dat was al
Hey,
drie
Bruni,
misschien-
lekker
al-
niet.
I'm not-
Auw, boy. Ja, die gaat ons
Kan
weer
ons al drie
back to
misschien-
the beginning.
Kijk, als ze het nog kent, because ik denk dat het wordt nog nooit eigenlijk op onze show niet. And I think it's time we do that. Right?
Yes.
a lekker game to play.
3, go.
Auw, na wat die kekkelisa, hey, Bruni, lekker niet. Auw, anything.
Oh,
Like what?
Toilet paper. Woena.
I think someone don't know this game.
I do. I've heard it years ago. But I think it's just
Memory fails you.
No, it's like a proxy. We don't play it anymore. Ayers is the bloody dier. Jy gaan sien hoeveel ayers.
Because die hoender het gekekkel
die
het. Die hoender het nie gekekkel nie. En daarom is die eie nou nie lekker nie. Daarom kan hulle vir koppie.
Ja, nou sê die hoene, ahoa, imagine, ahoa.
En die ander hoender sê, auwa. Auwa, nee.
Nou moet jy skoon die doppel
Wat 'n plaas is daai? Dis 'n terrible plaas daai. Kan jy imagine daai farmer, jy sukkel mos met hy hoender.
En hy farmer was ook brown.
Hy shame farmer, hy shame daai uncle. Hy
Ja.
was nooit brown nie,
No,
by the way.
light skinned.
En mijn laatste
Soos
dan.
Ja,
Baydu.
the last, ja.
Los hem bij af.
You light skin.
Maar ik draag heel. Ik kan zeker in.
The last, the last.
Kan ik met jou ook vertellen?
If you must.
En no?
No, I'm just saying.
Nee, hij
Wat was
saam.
daai?
Maar
Maar
That is
slow.
sarcasm is just go ahead.
Nee, maar daai look like hy's 'n profile picture wat ek gevat het.
Okay, now I'm gonna tell you a joke and you tell me what you think of the joke. So, een keer, een dag, nou, toen gaat een mami
Shame now. Vertel die joke man, ek is honger.
Een mami schildpad in die babyschildpad. Een mami schildpad in die babyschildpad gaat beach toe. Die babyschildpad. Sê vir die mami schildpad, mami, hou my top.
Is he drinking? I don't understand. Hy gedrink. Dit hou my top. Because they got swimming. You know, because sometimes they put the things in the water.
Yes.
And then it cools down in the
down,
water.
yeah.
That's a beach. That's a skilpad by the beach joke. Okay.
Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for joining us tonight,
Yes.
today, this afternoon, this evening, whatever,
And tomorrow.
and tomorrow for our vodcast. Thank you very much, Mel Jones, for coming.
Thanks
We
for
love you
having
so
me.
much.
Yeah,
you
definitely.
you kind of funny, and that's one thing that we appreciate about you. You're funnier than Wayne, which is what I think.
That's a low base. Working off a low base.
Yeah, very
The
much.
yard stick is a bit loud, but anyway. But on a serious note, thank you for coming. We want to wish you all the best.
Thank you.
You are an amazing person. Sy's 'n kwai MC, sy's 'n kwai, sy vertel lekker jokes. Nou gaan sy in therapy, wat is haar naam? Life skills, just therapy, whatever. Sy gaan daai
Life
doen.
coach.
Sy kan nie rap, ek kan rap. But
Ek kan maar miskien Christmas time. Yo.
sy Christmas rap for us.
No, she's talking about the present. Yes, just anyway.
I felt that since Wayne was making the kak jokes, I could also make kak jokes.
There's no time like the present. Ladies and gentlemen, wat is vir die rest?
Yes! How
Holy
could we?
hell.
How holy?
Sê jy nou.
Yeah, ladies and gents, for those watching, we also want to say
Simplified IT services.
Keeping it simple.
Simple.
Very simple.
Simplified.
Thank you very, very much.
Thank you much to Simplified
Thank you.
IT Services for always supporting us, sponsoring us, and so on and so forth. Is hy chips nog warm?
Nee, wacht, ik moet nog kopij ook zien. Ik kan niet van mijn lot zien. Die is die andere 50%.
Okay.
Mel
You
Jones.
know, toe julle sê, there's no time like the present, toe dink ek, julle gaan vir my 'n present gee.
Yes, just can we get us over and done with? Just Mel Jones. Ons wil net baie dankie aan jou sê. Dat was iets 'n krikkie. Ons wil net jou sê. We just want to say thank you very much for being you. I remember you on stage many, many years ago. I won't say
You
how many
struggle with
years.
saying goodbye.
No, a very tough, especially as your balcony. But thank you, man, just for being the humorous person that you've been for so many years on radio, television, on stage, everywhere, just bringing the light into a room and just making people
Don't
feel.
say that, then people are going to expect me to work at ESCOM.
Yeah, thank you.
Please.
But thanks,
The funniness into the room.
the funniness into the room.
And the life skills coach.
And the life skill coach.
life skills.
And jy klaar gemention nou.
Maar-
But we want to say
kan ek
thank
nie
you.
my dinge repeat? Is
Nou,
hy-
wat is nou my kans om te sê Thank you. Want jy het nou vir almal gethank.
Chips raak
Beside die coat, ja, dat is chip. Jy kan sien al die chips loop al. When are you coming? When are we coming? That's what chips praat. So thank you to Mel, and thank you so much for being here. We just really missed you for being that person, and we hope to see you
Yes,
again.
Mel.
But
Yeah, thank you.
Sy weg. Ek dink
Sy
sy
is lekker weg.
sy weg. Ja,
Say
dis
goodbye.
So goodbye, ladies and
Bye,
gentlemen.
everybody.
Mel has
Thank you.
left
Oh, you
the
said
building.
Praat hy nie, praat hy nie.
Bye, everybody.
She's back.
Thank
Bye-bye.
you for coming out to service. See you in the next one.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye. Tot ziens. Tot ziens. He's your proxy.
Wat my huis toe